Continuing my way through Before the Muses, an anthology of Akkadian literature, I now come to the myth of Nergal and Ereshkigal. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing any of those names. So, as is related here in the introduction, we have this myth from 4 different tablets, and they're all incomplete, but it's mostly reconstructed. There are 2 versions of this, a long version and a shorter version. They don't seem as if they're irreconcilable. So the longer version could be the same story, but just a longer version of the same story. But A and B together are both versions of the short story, and C and D are versions of the long story. And the way this is structured here in this book is there's an introduction, and then the publisher or translator, I guess this must be Benjamin R. Foster, lays out a summary of events and notes which events occur in which tablets. So some of these events occur in all of the tablets, and some of them occur in only 1 or 2 of the tablets. And then we get what he calls the Middle Babylonian version, which is the A and the B tablets. And that lasts for about 4 pages. 2 pages and 2 half pages, so let's say 3 pages. And then we get the late version, which is tablets C and D, and that lasts for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages. So the long version is considerably longer, I guess. I am not going to try in this video to keep track in my head and then relate to you which details come from which versions. I'll try just to give a summary of this myth as it occurs in the longer version. So, the gods are having a banquet, and Ereshkigal, the queen of the dead, is not allowed up from the underworld to join the banquet. Apparently there's some sort of rule that the queen of the dead cannot leave the land of the dead. So she comes up, sorry. The gods send a messenger down to her saying, "We're having a banquet, we do have food for you. Send one of your servants up, he can get your portion of the feast, and then he can come back down." So the servant does come up, and all the gods stand up to show respect for him, except one, and this is Nergal. And it's unclear why Nergal doesn't stand up to show respect. It's unclear why a lot of this happens, as is true with a lot of the myths preserved here in Babylonian and Assyrian literature, the Akkadian tradition. Stuff happens, but exactly why stuff is happening or what the character motivations are is often left unclear. I guess maybe this would have been clearer to people who are more familiar with these traditions. Maybe. I think that's the assumption. So anyways, for whatever reason, he doesn't stand up to show respect. And when the Queen of the Dead finds out about this, she gets upset about the lack of respect shown to her from one of the gods, and sends her messenger up to go get the god who did not show her respect. But Ea is able to disguise Nergal so that the messenger doesn't recognize him. But the Queen of the Dead, Ereshkigal, just says, "Okay, well, fine. If you're going to show me that kind of disrespect, then I am going to stop judging the dead." So I guess her job was to judge the dead based on, I guess, the kind of life they had had and give them a kind of reward similar maybe to the judgment of the dead in many myths and religions. And she stops doing that. So the gods say, okay, Nergal, you're going to have to go down and try and appease her. But they give him all sorts of advice. They said, don't take any of the food. Don't take any of the drink. Don't even sit in her chair. They make him his own chair so he can bring it down and sit in it. And do not become aroused when she takes off her clothes in front of her. So he says, okay, and he goes down and he's negotiating with her and he's sitting in his own chair. And he refuses the drinks and he refuses the food. But when she starts taking off her clothes in front of him, then he becomes aroused and they make passionate love for 7 days straight. And at the end of that passionate love, he decides he's had enough and he's going back up to the upper world. And again, exactly what his thought process is not explained. I guess you have to just guess. Maybe he's going down for a little bit of a fling, but when the fling is over, it's time to go back home or something like that. So Ereshkigal, when she wakes up and she realizes her lover has abandoned her, is very upset. She threatens to unleash the dead upon the world of the living, so that the dead will eat up all the living and that the dead will outnumber the living. And the gods convince Nergal to go back down, and it's a happy reunion. They make passionate love once again, and Nergal becomes king of the land of the dead, and Ereshkigal becomes his queen. And I think that's an accurate summary of the longer version. I was reciting that all without looking at the text, obviously. So if I got any of the details wrong, somebody let me know in the comments. I'm reciting that from memory, but I think that's an accurate summary. I said I wasn't going to get into the differences between the longer and the shorter version, but while I'm here, might as well just talk about it a little bit, huh? In the shorter version, is a lot shorter. Ereshkigal is demanding Nergal's death because of the disrespect he showed her by not standing up for a messenger at the banquet. He goes down to the land of the dead, grabs her off her throne, and he's going to slit her throat, and she starts crying and she says, don't kill me, you can become my husband and rule the underworld with her. And he says, okay. And then they become man and wife in that way. So a little bit less sex in that version and a little bit more violence, or at least threatening of violence. And apparently, according to the footnote here, there's some sort of pun going on where the word for her wishing for his death and the word for her getting him as her husband is apparently the same, mutam. So he comes down and he says, okay, I'll be your husband. What else have you wished for from me for these past few months until now? So he said, okay, you've been wishing for my death, meaning you've been wishing for me as your husband. So here you go, you're getting what you wish for. Apparently. Apparently that's how... That's how, the impression I'm getting from this footnote here. So there you go. That is the myth of Nergal and Ereshkigal. And I'm going to continue working my way through this anthology of Akkadian literature and giving you updates as I go through it. So thank you very much, BookTube. I will see you next time.